Hi, I'm Eric, and this is my beautiful wife, Jolene, and this is the Marriage Mentor Podcast. And what's our subject today?
Today, we're going to learn how to build a closer marriage.
This is a short question. Today, I want to answer the question people actually ask me often. Okay, Jolene, so how do I actually build a close marriage? Simple question.
Yeah, it takes time. It's not in our nature. We don't
Let's
walk down the aisle, have a ring on our finger, and as a wife know, okay, this is my next step.
Let's define a close marriage from the perspective of a man and a woman.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'll let you lead that because I know nothing about it.
Okay. What does a guy want? I don't know what most guys want. I think I know what I want.
Do tell.
I want a gal. It was interesting because I'm in business. I really like business and all that stuff. And I've seen this more than once. And I think there's even a study done on it as to what makes a guy successful. And I'm not saying just in making money, but what makes a guy successful? And you're thinking, oh, he's got focus, or he's got drive, or he's consistent, or he's strategic, or he's got, okay? It came down to he had a wife that supported him, a wife who loved him. Basically, he had a great gal.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, that was it.
When you think about all the companies that are massive companies, built companies, to hear that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
The wife behind the husband.
I thought that was cool. So when it comes down
God
to...
would agree with that, by the way. There's a reason why.
Why?
Because when he made Eve, he didn't just make her as a woman. He didn't make her as a mom. He made her as a wife. There's a lot of power there. He made her as a wife. And we just gloss over that because we look at creation, great, God made the animals.
He didn't just give him a pet.
Not a pet, not a servant, not a sex slave.
It had to be someone that was suitable for him.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So as a guy, what does a guy want in a happy marriage? Guys, in essence, are somewhat simple. And you've always heard guys want respect. We've talked about that. We can talk about that more. But value, guys want to be valued. They want to be important. They want to be, everyone wants to be loved. But for a guy to have a gal that says, that's my guy, okay? He's important. He's better than all the other guys.
She's proud of him.
Yes, no one's got a guy like my guy, and he sees that, and she probably even say that in public. See that guy right there? That's my guy. And you gals, you might think you have good guys, but that's the best guy right there. Okay, that's got to be.
Because that's how you feel it
yes,
as a man.
Yes, that's how I feel it. And you think if a gal does that, he feels important. He feels, and there might not be anyone else in the world that makes him feel important.
Well, and it kind of builds in this sense of purpose for you as a man.
Yeah, because when I talk about the reason I work so hard and do these things, my number one reason is that you're taken care of before and after I'm dead. Okay? So that's number one priority. If I wasn't married, I could live in my truck. It wouldn't be a big deal. But now that I got you, it's just like, I want you to have everything I can give you. And I want you to be taken care of, and I want you to feel loved and everything else. I want that. So I don't even know what the question was. What was the question?
The question was how to build a close marriage, and you said, let's define what a close marriage is.
Okay.
And
Well,
you said from a man.
From the man's perspective, at least this man's perspective, that's what it is. Okay? Now,
from a woman's perspective, I would say a close marriage for me would be to feel seen, to feel heard, and to feel loved.
Okay.
And they're all these emotions.
What does it mean to be seen or to feel seen?
In essence, valued.
Okay.
That I'm a treasure, a rare treasure.
Okay.
Not this last pick on the playground that has to go on to somebody's team. That I am that.
You don't want to be the default gal. You're the last one on earth. So hey, you.
Yeah. That there's this cherishing experience that he's in essence saying, that woman right there I want to take care of.
And you know what's interesting is that a gal can set herself up for being that gal.
I've learned that.
And she can set herself up for not being that gal.
Yeah.
How does she set herself up to be that gal?
It goes back to respect, but let's go back to because we're going to stay on topic with this.
What, we're going to stay on topic this one?
We're going to try really
hard. Why? Go ahead.
We're going to try really hard. So you said, what do I need, or what does a woman want? What does it look like to have a close marriage? For me, it would be to feel seen, to feel heard, and to feel loved. And so to feel heard is, I think that's a huge thing for a wife. It's like, why isn't he hearing me? It's like, why do I have to tell him 10 times? Why do I have to raise my voice? Why do I have to explode? There's a lot of things that are leading up to that point.
Go further. What does being heard mean? Just take out the trash, or what does being heard mean?
No, it goes deeper than that. I think that Satan has done a remarkable job in twisting, obviously, scriptures. That's what he does. He tries to undermine God's word. He tries to get in and tell a wife or a woman, you're not enough. Look at all these other women. And there's this sense of, we don't bring enough value. So when a husband says, you bring value, I see you, I hear you, you bring worth, I'm so thankful that you're by my side, and I want to help you with your dreams, your aspirations, and whatever wounds that you've walked through, I want to help you through all of that. As opposed to her feeling alone and emotionally disconnected from her husband. It's just, I don't want to be in that marriage. I want to make the marriage that's a close one.
What does a guy do to make you feel disconnected?
He doesn't hear me. If you don't hear me, it's just like, why aren't you hearing me? I'm not just the little woman over here. I know I come with influence. That is baked in influence. It did not start on my wedding day. It started the day that God made me.
And feeling heard doesn't mean he agrees with you necessarily.
Just like when we talked about with the respect episode, you could still have a conversation and not agree with your husband, but still be respectful. But when you hear me, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you're gonna make everything happen for me. You're not my savior.
So here's how it goes. The husband might say, okay, you're saying this, I hear that. In his mind, he might even be thinking, I think that's insane. Guys, don't say that, by the way, okay? You can think it, okay? But when that situation comes up, even if you think it's insane, there's gonna be something that sparks in your brain and go, wait a minute, she said this, I might think it's insane, but I'm not going to treat it like I think it's insane because it's important to her. And so hearing you...
Imagine if you started treating me like a mental patient. It wouldn't go over well. Okay. But it's the same, it's the exact same opposite of if you came to me as a husband with some other bright idea that I'm like, okay, I don't want to critique it and criticize in that moment. I want to be curious. So I'm holding back. I'm holding on to being a woman of self-control, still being respectful in the process, and then saying, share with me more. Try to do it without laughing. What does this mean to you?
Sure.
Because again, that's me treating you like an adult, that you don't have the intellect of a 5-year-old. That's just, okay, explain this to me more. Now, I might have the intellect of a 5-year-old, so explain it to me like I'm 5 because I'm not understanding it. So again, that's where respect is going on both sides. I could share with you, oh, I'd like to do this, or I'm struggling with this, or this is what would make me feel loved, and you're just like, that's an insane idea. Now, for you to voice it, you've now just made me feel what?
That's why I say keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Because men and women are different.
And the last thing I ever need to hear from you, break your neck, okay, is you're being overly sensitive, okay? That for a husband to say that to a wife, you could just kiss sex goodbye because she's not going to be having sex with you anytime soon with a statement like that. You're being overly sensitive. The last time I checked, I'm a woman.
So what the gal can do then, she can go next door and bring the neighbor husband over and say, here, since I'm being oversensitive, here, have sex with the neighbor.
Right. When men say that, I just am like, dude, what are you saying? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be married to this harsh woman by you criticizing how emotional she is. Newsflash, we have lots of hormones. We have way more hormones than the men do. And we're a lot. We're a lot for just us. That we don't know why we feel this way.
Yeah, but there's something that a man wants from
in a woman. He wants
right?
the softness. And so you're destroying her when you're saying you're being too emotional or you're being overly sensitive.
It comes back to some advice I would give friends of mine when they were getting married a long time ago. But I'd always say, hey, remember, the gal you're marrying is not a man. Now it sounds stupid. What is that? That's stupid. But if you really think about it, that means don't treat her like she's a man. Okay? She's not a man. You're marrying her because she's not a man. And so don't treat her that way. Don't get so comfortable that you think you can just treat her like she's a man and that's it.
Right. And that's what we have a tendency to do. As a woman, I would have a tendency to treat you like I would treat a girlfriend. It's just, you don't need to hear all these issues that I have. That's something I would share with a girlfriend. Let's just give him a break, because you speak in, like, how many words a day do you guys have? Like 5,000? We might have 500,000. We don't need to, like, vomit all over you all day long, because you're a man. You're going to view things differently. And I can't look at you as if you're like my girlfriend.
So those are two things. What else is on the list that you said?
Oh, you asked, what does a close marriage look like? And so
from a woman's perspective.
From a woman's perspective.
See, because a man has a couple things. You have like 5.
We have 5,000. Let me go into it. So closeness is built. Okay, it's not found. When we hear about, oh, I found my person. Okay, I found my person. Okay, so you're found.
Okay, let's go back. And I hate that.
I know you do. That's why I said it.
Not my person, my man or my woman. Okay,
that's the premise.
That's where we roll over here. Okay.
But the premise is, I found my guy, you found your gal, and then it stays there. And it's just like, why do you think it's going to flourish? If you have a pool outside and if you don't treat it with any of the chemicals, it will eventually turn green. Nothing stays the same. It's either going to flourish or regress. So a close marriage has to be built. It's not just, I found the right guy, I found the right gal, and now we went off and we're building this life and we got the cars, we've now got the kids, the house, or whatever. It's just, you need to intentionally build the closeness, because the closeness doesn't just show up. The closeness fairy doesn't show up. It doesn't usher into your marriage.
It is a maintenance thing.
It is a maintenance
and
thing.
You and I aren't necessarily big on maintenance, but in marriage, you have to be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weekly thing. I have some buddies I have one buddy that he has like an aviary. Is that what it's called? Or where it's fenced in, you got birds and you got plants and you got different stuff. He comes home and he tends that daily.
Yeah.
Okay? Because otherwise the birds are going to die, the weeds are going to overgrow it, the whole thing is just going to be a mess. And so that's his thing. That's not my thing, but my marriage needs to be that. Daily, weekly. Okay.
Otherwise, if you're not tending to the marriage, eventually you're like, now we need to go to counseling.
Because the weeds are so high, I can't even see her.
Yeah.
I can't even see him.
Yeah. So here's the scripture that I want to use for how to build a close marriage. It's Hebrews 10:24. It says to consider one another in order to stir up love. And so stir up, that's active. It's an ongoing thing. The rest of that verse is stir up love and good works. So it's a constant working in that field of what do I need to do to keep building that closeness and that intentionality. So here are some things that I have. I have 8 points. So number 1, choose consideration over convenience. Ouch, that one is a tough one. But consideration is the foundation everything sits on. So closeness doesn't come from the fairness or the keeping things even. So we do have that tit for tat type of marriage that is just, that's not gonna bode well later down the road. You're gonna start drifting off even further and further from the one you fell in love with. So it's a daily willful choice to ask, what do you need from me? And even if I don't feel like it, many days I don't feel like it, but to say to you, what do you need from me? That is me choosing consideration over convenience. It's me choosing consideration over the scrolls, I want to go binge on Netflix and all the apathy that society has ushered into our world today. That's just like, I have to put effort in and choose consideration over just that convenience. Number 2, prioritize unhurried time. So we've been married for more than a minute. And we're not just in the same house. So time without an agenda. There is this talking, praying, laughing, doing nothing productive together. Today was such a great day. I'm like, I feel like it's a vacation day for us, like we're at the beach or something, because it was unhurried time. We just went to go get bagels, took care of some of the stuff for our grown children, and it was just unstructured.
And that worked for you?
It did. That I'm like,
nice.
You didn't even know that, huh? Then I'm like, this is just so nice that we're not in a hurry, that it's just you and I just experiencing unstructured minutes, and the closeness is being built. It wasn't the scheduled date night. It was just life.
And that's easier for us now than it was when you had kids.
Yes.
We have kids, but they're older.
Having their own kid.
Right. So that would be something that you would be more active about. And even if you just said, hey, we got babysitter for the kids, or we send the kids to grandma and grandpa or whatever, and we're just going to hang out.
Yeah.
And we're going to do nothing without the kids.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
Yes. So number 3, stay curious about each other. Because at the end of the day, people change. The man I knew 6-7 years ago is very different. You're not identical today than what you were.
Hopefully he's better.
You're better. to who you are today, I'm like, okay, there's another facet to you. So keep asking real questions instead of assuming you already know the answers. Now, you might say to me, oh, I got the story to tell you. And then you tell me, I'm like, yeah, I know that story.
I only have about 5 stories that I retell over and over again.
Okay, number 4, how to build closeness. Fight for repair, not just peace.
What does that mean? What do you mean repair? I know what repair is, but how do you repair?
So we all have conflict.
How do you repair?
That's a long episode. It would start with, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? It starts there. It starts with a humility of, I didn't even realize
We've talked about this
you.
in the past, but there's 2 parts of that. There's, I'm sorry, but the second part is, will you forgive me? You are actively bringing that person in. Now they have obligation in that relationship.
They have to make a choice as to whether or not
they
they're
have to
going
make a
forgive
choice. No, I won't forgive you. Okay? They can say that.
They could say that.
But they're just drinking poison at
Yes,
that
they
point.
are. Yeah. So close couples don't avoid the conflict. You and I don't avoid the conflict. That's just that would be us sweeping just more garbage under the rug, ignoring it. Then I'm like, that's not going to bode well moving forward. We know how to return to each other afterwards. So if you don't know how to return to one another, just send me an email, Jolene@JoleneEngle.com, or DM me with, I don't know how to do this, and we'll address it on another episode. So start with apologizing specifically, forgiving fully, and not stockpiling old wounds. Okay, I think that's a huge one, the stockpiling old wounds. At the end of the day, we are all sinners. We're all going to screw up. We all fall short. That every single day you have to repair, every single day. And if you're over here just, you did this to me and you did this to me and you're holding on for the last 10, 15 years or the last 3 weeks and you haven't resolved it, go resolve it. Because God's not going to hear your prayers unless you resolve it. Okay? Your prayers will be hindered if you're holding on to, you wronged me. And it needs to be restored.
It's interesting because I saw an interview with this Christian couple in the music industry. And they're both young and good looking and all that stuff. But we've had some issue, or there was an issue or something. She didn't say what it was, but she was still holding on to it and brought it out in this interview. They didn't go any deeper into it, but I could tell there's still a problem.
There's a wound there.
Yeah, there's still a wound going on there. And if I would say anything to a guy and a gal, ask questions, okay? Even if it's, hey, every week we're gonna sit down for 10 minutes and ask each other questions. What do you like that I do? What do you not like? Or what would you like me to change? Or what makes you feel loved? Or what special thing do I do that really gets you going, that turns you on, you just feel loved that way? All those type of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, you can get a lot of information that way. I'm in sales, so I tell my guys, I say, look, the more questions you ask, the more answers you get, it gives you the ammunition to get to that conclusion, that final sale. Okay?
You're getting to the heart motive. Great point. Number 5, build shared meaning, a shared faith, shared purpose, shared vision for your family, something bigger than the day-to-day logistics. So couples who feel like they're on a mission tend to feel closer than couples who are just co-managing a household. So before you say something, I got to speak into that young mom. You're in the building years and you're in the survival years, and it's just, oh my gosh, I'm sleep deprived and I'm drowning and the whole 9 yards. You do have to take a break from that bit of motherhood, because at the end of the day, it can't just be, your children 24/7. I'm not talking about a newborn. Obviously tend to the children who need it, but as they get older, it's just like you can't be that helicopter mom because your marriage will die as a result.
You bring that up. I've seen some gals do this, which is fantastic. Some guys, a lot of guys, are into sports, watching sports. They get the jersey and when they're yelling at the TV and that sort of thing, and they got their favorite team. That is not me, but it's a lot of guys, right? And the gal that could care less about sports takes on this, okay, I'm going to make his team my team. And I'm going to wear the jersey as well. And I'm going to learn about this. That's a way where she comes alongside him and gives him something that is rare.
It's something that he enjoys and that he loves, and then he has his best friend beside him. They're doing it together. Any man would love that.
Absolutely. What would that be on a gal's side?
Recording a podcast together.
Recording a podcast together. And you're limited on time.
When you're limited on time, I'm like, thank you for the sacrifice, son. I need you by my side.
All right.
So that would be, we're older, but as a young bride, it would be like, it would be more of the family side. It would have been like, hey, can we do these things as a family? That would have been a very big thing for me to start trying to strengthen the family as I'm trying to learn how to do this, that you're by my side in this. Okay, number 6. We have a couple more. To build a close marriage. Initiate affection, physical and verbal. So initiate touching, words of affirmation, and intimacy without waiting for the other person to go first. That's very easy for a wife to feel. Her feelings will get hurt probably faster because we are more emotional and we'll put the walls up faster. If you want to build that closeness and you've been the gatekeeper of I'm going to have the cold shoulder and push you away, take a better approach. Go build.
So here's the easy way for the guy to say to his wife, hey, I like physical intimacy, but I need to know how to approach you so you're interested in as well. And it might be, she might say, hey, it's got to start with this, this, and this.
Bath time.
It might,
laundry, dishes.
Yeah, it might start with all that stuff. But if he asks her and she says, hey, it's this, this, and this, look, guys, don't be stupid. She just gave you the map.
Yeah.
Follow the map. That's how you get from point A to point Z. But a lot of guys are like, no, screw the map. I don't want to follow the map. I just want what I want.
I want what I want. And then you're surprised, and then the arguments and the strife comes. Okay, number 7, protect the marriage from outside erosion. Guard your words about him to others, guarding your time from constant distraction, guarding your heart from resentment, which is exactly what we're going to be covering in another episode that's scheduled. So resentment would be a really big issue in marriage because we're sinners. And then number 8, grow spiritually even at different paces. So I do get these questions a lot, like, I'm more spiritual than he is. So if you're more spiritual than he is, then keep your mouth shut about it, because at the end of the day, humility is a good thing. So but keep growing.
If she is more spiritual than he is, then she should be able to keep her mouth shut about it. The ones that are not more spiritual are the ones that are pointing at the husband saying, you're not this and you're not that and you're not praying and you're not doing this. Just, how spiritual are you to be pointing the finger at him? Yeah,
it goes back to the take the plank out of your own eye as you're looking at the speck in your brother's. So there's this misconception to think that, okay, we are both believers who walk down the aisle and then we're going to be growing at the same pace spiritually. That it's just, there were journeys that I had great faith. I could take out that giant, I don't need 5 smooth stones, I just need one. There were times that my faith was that strong. There are other times that I'm like, I can't get out of bed. God's not showing up. Last year at this time, I was at the office and there was like this bug that kept flying around and I'm like, what's going on? And there's no bug. And I started getting floaters and I'm like, what is this? And then I do the research, okay, it's not that big of a deal, it's kind of common, but then it says if you start seeing bright light, then you need to get to a doctor or a hospital because your retina could be torn or detached. And I'm like, seriously? This is really? So I've lost my mind. I had a hard time speaking, even forming sentences when I hit menopause. And now I'm going to not be able to see very well. And I'm like, Lord, I'm not understanding this. So you say to me, let me pray for you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's gonna work. That's exactly where I was spiritually. I was just so defeated that I'm like, I've lived through enough trials that I'm like, feel free to pray because it's not working for me. You prayed, and it was 4th of July weekend a year ago. No doctors are around. I finally am able to get into a doctor to see my eye. And they're like, oh, so they heard the whole story, and you had the flashes of light, yep, still having them. And she said there's no detachment and there's no tear in your retina, because that could either lead to blindness or I don't know, I'm not a doctor. It could lead to bad things, basically. The only thing that happened was that you prayed. And isn't it sad, as a believer of almost 30 years, it'll be 30 years on July 6th. So by the time this podcast is released, I would have been walking with the Lord for 30 years. And this believer says, yeah, feel free to pray. It's probably not going to do anything. So do you see where 1 minute my faith could be up really high, your faith could be up really high, and instead of examining each other's own walk with God, it's just keep your eyes on your own, just your own walk, read your own Bible, talk with one another about it, but to be cross-examining them of like, where are you at spiritually? Not a good move. I would stay away from that. You can still grow strong spiritually without me saying, this is what you need to be doing. Okay, right. That's going to widen a gap in your marriage. It's not going to draw it close. So my encouragement to you is, I've given you 8 of them. Pick just one. Pick the one that was the most convicting and do that one on purpose. Try to do that this week. And those are all my thoughts. Closeness it's not a mystery. Closeness is not a mystery. It's not luck. It's built on the same way anything worth having is built. It's one considerate choice at a time. And that's what Hebrews 10:24 has been telling us this whole series. So stir it up, stir it up, stir it up. Instead of being that pot stir that you stir up all these bad things, be the stir to build up that closeness and that consideration.
People want great things without any great effort.
Yeah, great point.
And it doesn't happen that way. Never does it happen that way.
Yeah, I guess choose your hard. At the end of the day, you could have a hard marriage, or you put hard work and intentionality into a close marriage. You have a choice. So embrace your choice. That's it for now. I'm Jolene Engle. You're Eric.
I am.
Tell him to do all this stuff.
I'm still Eric. We say subscribe. We've called this the Low Tech Podcast because we don't know all this stuff, but subscribe and follow us and do all the stuff that you want to do. And hopefully we pray that the Lord will help you grow your marriage.
Until next time, embrace your choice.